Hi, welcome. So this is Shishi over here, and a lot of people have asked me how I came to do the Akashic Records reading. I'm a fairly traditional sort of person if you look at my resume. I was always a straight A student. Come from a very traditional home that emphasized education. So I went to Northwestern University, which is one of the top schools in the States, and I got a job in IT. I just did what I had to do, to do the normal thing, or what I thought was the normal thing to reach happiness in life. And I thought, okay, if I have a job that's going to give me a great salary and flexibility, then I can just do whatever I want after 5 o'clock, So life was good. I was young, in my early 20s. I was engaged. I had a nice apartment in downtown Chicago. Had a group of friends. I had everything. Actually, my life was very good. And then my relationship fell apart, and I started kind of questioning myself, like, what am I doing here? So from then on, I decided that, okay, I need to figure myself out. I could send myself to a therapist for a whole year, or I could do this program that I found, which is spiritual psychology at the University of Santa Monica at the time. They still have a one-year program now. It's not a master's like the one that I had, but I encourage you to do it. So I did that for 2 years. I moved to California eventually from Chicago. Life continued, I studied, I worked hard, I had a lot of insights, and then one of my classmates had introduced me to an Akashic Records reader. So her name's Alessandra. I went to Alessandra. I would go to her often, and at one point I was going to see her every month because I felt like the information that I was receiving was helping me. And then during one of the sessions, the guide said you should connect to your own Akashic Records reader, Akashic Records, and you don't need to do it through another person. So she was doing the channeling, okay, for me, and basically she said that to me, okay? So I was thinking, I'm happy to pay her. So I was like, I don't want to hear voices. And that was maybe 5-6 years ago, and I just put that aside. I thought, whatever, I bought a book on Akashic Records. I sort of read it, and I didn't register anything that I read, honestly. I wasn't open. I was open to paying her to do my own reading, So that was as far as it went. So a lot of things happened. I traveled. I went to Italy to study painting. I went back to LA, and then I went to South Korea to meditate for 5 months, and I went back to LA. And then I would say this last recent trip, I went to Iceland. And when I was in Iceland, I started to develop this ability because another friend said this to me. She said, you should do your own reading. And I said, okay. So my mind was open then, and I really had nothing to do, honestly. I was living in Iceland sort of just to take a break from like the world, So I just wanted to escape from everybody and everything. So I did, and I had a lot of time. I went online and found the pathway prayer, to Akashic Records. You can find it online. So I read the blog post, and it says you can do through writing. So I did it. I just read the prayer, and I started writing, channeling through the writing. And so I am an avid journaler. Like, I write every day anyway. So I know how I write, which is a lot of bitching and venting most of the time, okay, about anything and everything. But when I do the automatic writing and channeling, it's not like that. Like, I would start the sentence, right? From the first sentence to the last sentence, it could be 3 pages, 5 pages, 10 pages, and that stream of consciousness just continues. Like it doesn't stop until it stops. So I would be writing on and on and on, and there's like no pause, right, in the stream of consciousness. And after I finished, I would read it and I'd be like, oh, this sounds like way too wise and loving than how I normally am. And even though sometimes I'm wise and loving, but not all the time, you know. So it just sounded so much nicer than me. And I then started practicing every day. You know, I open it every day, I would do it for friends, and then soon friends will recommend other friends. And so that's how I end up, you know, doing Akashic Records reading. And then another friend encouraged me to record these videos, like you are watching now. She said, why don't you record them? And I said, I don't want people to know. But then I thought, okay, I'll do it. So it was then, like, the very first lesson that I recorded was actually the first time I ever did an Akashic Records reading, like, verbally. I probably should have just maybe practiced them, but I didn't. I didn't prepare. Just like I didn't prepare for this video. I don't really prepare. I just sit down and I channel or I talk. So that's how it all came to be altogether, from sort of like the beginning of my spiritual journey to the end. And right now I'm actually rereading the book by Abraham Hicks, which really started my whole journey. It was the first book I had ever read on spirituality, and it's still a great book, and I actually find myself understanding it instead of judging it. When I read it at like 23, I was like, you know, this grammar doesn't sound so right. So I don't think I got more than like 5%, you know. But now I can understand most of the book, and a lot of it also because I can channel now, and you know, I'm constantly learning the lessons just like you are learning. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey in that way, and thanks for listening to me and to my ramble. So hopefully that answers your question or your curiosity about how I started. And you know, the journey continues, right? It doesn't stop just like right here. And I never thought ever that I would be able to channel, because I was very closed off. Yeah, I'm a very different person now than how I was at the beginning of that journey. And I think, you know, they always say it's not the destination, it's the journey. And I think it's very true, because like right now I'm just sitting here, I'm doing this message for you, and I mean, I'm pretty happy. But at the same time, think back to all the memories, you know, and of how I got here. And those were so fun. And they were at times very difficult, but also at times amazing. I had amazing friends and amazing experiences from around the world. So anyway, I hope that this message is encouraging to you, and that I'm here to support you as well on your spiritual journey. And I would love to hear how you got started and how you end up watching this video. So I'd love to hear from you as well. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.